And President Trump is on his way back home after a state visit to the UK. During a news conference with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he was asked about the war in Ukraine, specifically Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Well, he has let me down. I mean, he's killing many people, and he's losing more people than he's killing. I mean, frankly, the Russian soldiers are being killed at a higher rate than the Ukrainian soldiers. But, yeah, he said, let me down. I don't like to see. It's death.
And CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman joins us now. Willie, hearing that sentiment, do you think the president still believes at this point there is still a path to end the war in Ukraine?
Yeah, well, Nancy, the White House, of course, hopes that President Putin sees the light and comes around to end this conflict. But we've seen the president grow increasingly frustrated with President Putin of Russia. They're expressing his frustration publicly, saying that the Russian leader has let him down. We've also seen the president try to turn up the pressure on U.S. allies, most notably those NATO nations, trying to get them to come to terms with putting more sanctions on Russia, because we have not seen that movement towards President Putin. Sitting down with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Remember, that was part of what was being discussed with leaders, including President Trump and other NATO and European leaders, trying to bring those two leaders together, get them in the same room, and then there would perhaps be another summit where President Trump could potentially take part in. That has not happened yet, and President Trump has continued to blast the Russian leader for not only continuing to go forward with this war, but the death toll that we've seen grow day by day with soldiers on both sides and civilians being affected and killed by this terrible conflict. So President Trump expressing that frustration, but still leaving the door open to more sanctions and potentially putting more pressure on Putin to get him to the table and to bring about peace. Given
this stalemate, Willie, how do European leaders like Prime Minister Starmer feel about the president's handling of this war and his dealings with Putin?
Yeah, we've seen leaders like Prime Minister Starmer, as he did today, commend the president for at least getting the Russian president on the phone and trying to get him to come to the table. In fact, Prime Minister Starmer said we have to put extra pressure on Putin, perhaps giving some signals that some European countries are at least willing to move closer to those increased sanctions that the president has called on those European nations to put forward, Nancy.
All right, Willie James Inman, thank you very much.